Set? Okay. All right. This is the agenda for the Bedford Township Park Commission meeting on the 14th. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Anybody need to add to the agenda? Anything going on? Then I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I will motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of the September 23rd meeting.
Sorry they were late, but
It's all right.
I saw them. I didn't notice anything that needed changed.
nothing time-bearing for us anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's like, that whole, like, needing to get it there by a certain time for money
Nope.
stuff, that's all, like, no big deal, right? 'Cause
Okay, I motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Signing of per diem slips are finished. Secretary's report.
the report.
Okay. Treasurer's report that was sent in to us. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick here. Since we didn't get it. Oh gosh, can't.
Not on here, I guess, huh?
Cell tower, no, he didn't get in time. They
right.
didn't print it because they weren't here today. Cell tower parks, we've got $2,248.25, which is good. And expenses, we have janitorial services for Samaria. Why will this not open?
Getting you.
Oh, look at that. We do have it, huh?
Read it.
There we go.
now I
Yeah,
can see
September 2 May. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Okay. 2 maids to clean for Samaria, $330. Thank you. 2 maids to clean for car for September is $1,210.
Yep.
All right. Consumers for Parmalee
Looks
Park
normal.
was $33.39. Michigan Gas for car, $39.14. Consumers for car, $151, giving us a total of expenses $1,713.04.
And I think those 2 maids are August and September,
Instead of September.
because I don't believe we had anything for August. So it looks right.
Okay.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second. All right, I say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed. And that brings us to Mr. Pryor, who is going to give us a report.
Good evening, everyone. In terms of the maintenance department and so on, in a few weeks, some things are going to change in terms of how we're going to be doing things. Okay? Pat and I are working together to make these changes, to make your lives easier, because we realize when people like a park board, or even other boards, everybody has jobs, they're going here, going there, and we do have some inherent problems in terms of our purchasing, okay? And you guys have also had that frustration, and so do I, okay? Because $1,500 in today's world is archaic, and I can give you examples. We had to get a quote and try and get 3 plumbing quotes, and the plumber tells us, and all of them, one wanted to charge us $150 to come out. I get it. I'm not going to go work for free. $125 for another one, and was $150 for the other one. So I'm going to have $400 and some possibly wrapped up in quotes for these small jobs, because we can't get tradespeople to come out and do them. If we call them, they just want to do them. So after I'm in office, I am going to approach, and hopefully, with your help, Todd, and I can sit down, I'll be showing the board, giving examples. We need to change some of our policies. It's very hard, or you guys want to do something, and it's like, hey, we'd like to spend $3,000, and I'm spending, 20 hours trying to get quotes or this. You know what I mean? It doesn't work anymore. It's broke.
A lot of it, too, is building the relationships with companies. And I know, obviously,
Right.
you want the best for taxpayer money. Well, that's what we're spending.
Exactly.
But when we've established the same person or something donating a ton of time, or, hey, I'll give it to you half off, and I'll break that 1,500 mark, even though, regularly I'd be charging $3,000.
Right.
I'll write it for this. That's fine. Get me scheduled in. Let's do it. And then we're stalled out or delayed, and it's killing them. Like they're kind of bending over for us to help us, and then it's like, well, we can't tell you it's good to go. Now we have to try to find other quotes. Like
Exactly. I mean, I've heard a lot of times where people will say, well, we got to run government like a business. Okay, well, I was in business for 35 years. You know what? We had preferred vendors. We checked out their prices. We knew what they charged. We knew what vendor A had, vendor B. We had our preferred guy. If he couldn't fill the need, we go to number 2.
Yep.
And so we're going to be working on that. Communication flow for the park board, either Pat or myself will be attending one of your meetings and giving you updates to say, here's what's going on. It's the same way. We still want you to check your parks, okay, and go out there, check them and so on. But I want to take a preemptive approach to where we're checking them, okay? Pat's duties are going to expand, okay? Part of things I want some of his guys is to take on a park themselves. There's no reason we can't have Adam or whatever say, okay, car park is yours. Jeff, Samaria is yours. You can check it every week. Bring in a report, boom. These are things that need to be done. If we got to spend money, we're going to let you know. Right. But the thing is, if we can change some things, we can just go make those fixes, right? We won't have to come to you and say, well, hey, we got to fix the swing set
On
today.
this, and then we'll say, yeah, let's get it done, and then it goes back to you, and that's what it's been a lot of.
Yeah, and there's no, so things are going to change. We have to. We can't keep doing what we're doing. You know, not that it's been so bad, but, you know, Pat gets torn in a lot of different ways, and I'm trying to focus
Overloaded.
where he's more of a manager, guide the processes, manage the workflow, and so on. Because in defense of Pat, he's a hands-on guy too. He likes to jump in there and do things. So we are going to change some things with checklists. That, like for example, if the playground stuff needs repairs in the equipment, and we've had these issues with Miracle, them losing invoices, not getting, you know,
Or it's being 8 months out.
yeah.
Yeah.
We would come to you all and say, okay, this is what we need. You approve it. We're going to order it. We're going to move on and get it installed. And then, like I said, but I think if we come here and report to you every month and say, hey, here's what's happening in each park, I think our communication flow will be much better. Instead of just an email or a phone call, or, you know, we can say, hey, here's what's happening. So that's something that we're working on. What Bob did for the maintenance budget, okay, and we have money in there to do this maintenance. Okay, so it's not like you have a zero budget, all right? But he felt that it was going to be easier on a lot of things to go ahead like, hey, we need to fix this. It's $500. We're going to go fix it. We got the money in the budget. So that's the way he did it. He still has in there like just a general is like 10,000. Maintenance for the equipment is 15,000. Buildings 10,000. In the grounds is 53,000. The hard part with us, and you all know too, in the summertime we've been last 2 years we've been lucky that we've been able to get people to cut grass. We've got 36 parcels that we have to cut, and the public doesn't see all that. We do. So that sucks up a lot of time that we have. So last year we hired 2 seasonal that were really good. And we have Tom, he used to be the facility manager at Monroe County Community College. He's the one who now takes care of this building, and he takes care of the library. He goes in there, he's doing like the trimming, keeping everything done. And if you notice, the library's looked pretty good. The front of the buildings look pretty good. So that's a step we took last year. We're going to kind of keep trying that. The other guy we had, we didn't get him this year because he had some family issues. Hopefully maybe we can get Marty back or somebody again like that. Both of these gentlemen knew plant life. They knew what to cut, not to cut, and all that. So that made Pat's life a whole lot easier. So that's something that we're doing there. But Todd wanted me to come in because it's like you guys had an invoice, I don't know, $1,400 some dollars or whatever. If you get that into me, I approve it and I walk it over to Bob.
Perfect.
It's a done. You know, any invoice.
That's what you explained back to us.
Yeah, any invoices you got, stuff like that, get it to me. I'll walk it over, and we'll get it done. Okay. And Bob is a pretty reasonable guy. It's the same thing when we're buying things. Bob does look at getting quality things. You know what I mean? So that does help. And he even mentioned too. He was like, "Well, what do you think your labor needs are going to be?" I said, "I don't know, Bob. We might need a permanent part-time person like we had before." Okay, but the thing is, we always have to get the right person because I don't want to hire just people that can cut grass. I want people that can also fix things, paint things, do things. So, like I said, I go back to once office changes, we're going to do some different things. I think it'll be good. So, because I know in years past, a lot of times, it's like the park board's just kind of been on its own, or they've had somebody on the inside helping. In terms like Garnet Francis was a prime example. She was on the park board and she used to take care of a lot of stuff, you know. So, and I think if the park board can focus on a couple things, one with 3B baseball, who's responsible, or when issues come up with that, what can be done. I think that that will help tremendously. I would like to see the park board work on more events, because I think that helps with economic development. It helps in terms of our public image as a township. And the other thing that I'm looking at, and when I'm interviewing people, I will be taking a different approach out of the supervisor's office with some of these committees and boards. All right. Carol knows last year we spent a lot of time on trying to get a grant. Trudy helped. I was in on it. We sat there. We scored really high, right, Carol? We scored really high. Unfortunately, Bedford, we were not high on the poverty list.
Yeah.
Right. So that
Category.
that hurt. But I'm looking at several people, because I think out of the supervisor's office, if we can, and I've talked to people like up in Pittsfield, out of their supervisor's office, Mandy, she's been in office for like 16 years, and she was able to generate about $60 million in grants out of her office. And that's what we need, okay? We've tried the grant writing committee route, okay? You get volunteers, but then a lot of times people just get busy. They got jobs, they got families, they got kids, you know? So what I'm thinking is, if we can take certain initiatives and say, let's push them, get with you guys, we have meetings, say, okay, what is your strategic plan? What type of grants are you going for? And then we take a look and say, okay, who can do that? We have resources through SEMCOG, okay, through grants. There's other sources. There are a lot of crazy grants out there. What people don't realize when we say crazy is that you have families that want to donate money. And a lot of times with these charities and organizations, I think the IRS says they've got to spend like 15% of whatever their endowment is or whatever. They can't keep that money forever. It has to be spent, okay? So I'm looking at a few people that has some of that experience and some good connections. So when the budget comes up, again, we should be with the maintenance department, because you guys are going to have the other stuff that you guys are going to have to budget for. But I think when it comes down with maintenance, we should sit down and we need to talk about it and say, hey, you know, if we've got a piece of park equipment that's on its way out, we need to discuss that. You know, can we even get parts for it anymore? Can we do this? Can we do that? Plus, we need to be taking a look at other things too that, like I was over at, did anybody go to the Whiteford Festival?
I didn't make it.
Okay. Well, they got a brand new playscape. Well, they got all that rubber laid down around it. We keep buying mulch every couple of years.
Yep.
It's insane. We're spending all that money on mulch, and it's not as good as the rubber stuff. So those are things that's where we also have to get in with Bob and say, okay, what are things that we need, that we think. So those are some things that I want to bring to the table in terms of that. I think cooperation is going to be important. I think our parks are going to be important. I feel in the next 2 years, we've got to do a lot of things right before you go to the voters and ask them for a millage. And I think we have to prove as in government, yes, we did go out and get some grants. Yes, we did do this, but however, we need to take another step before we ask them. In terms, and I'm going to use the library as an example. Their millage kept getting improved all the time, and then all of a sudden, it didn't. They sat there like, well, now what do we do? Because here's what happened. They had a perception out there, the people, that nobody went to the library anymore. We all did. We got computers. We got phones. We don't go to the library. They had to go out, and Jody and the Friends of the Library went out and did a lot of education and started talking to people. Do you know we're more than just books? We're programs, we're this, we're that, and so on. Well, we got the millage renewed. And the thing is, because I'm on that, I help them as the advisory, anytime that we do something, we have a strategy behind it. Why do we want to do it? Like, we're going to remodel a kitchen. It has a kitchen, but you know what? we did some research and so on. We kept getting people saying, you know, we'd like to do more events here, but that kitchen, it can't handle catering. Okay, well, we're going to design it so that you can. We can increase revenue. That's one of the few places we have that we can do events. But I know, Aaron, you talked about doing events in the parks. Like we got like one of the best fireworks displays. We need to jump on that. I mean, that's just so those are some of the things that we're looking to do. At least I'm looking to do with the person that I hire. Like I said, I'm down to a few really good candidates in terms of what we want to do. But like I said, I'm going to go back to, in the meantime, because Aaron and Andrew, you guys are going to be here. Josh is going to be a new board member, and Matt Anger, if you don't know him, he's going to be on the board. I think if we can just all work together, we can get things done. And that just, you know, you've had a long 4 years, and I can understand that.
Say that multiple times.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that we do need, you know. We need new picnic tables and car. I don't know whoever decided to paint aluminum tables, but they did. You know what I mean? So
They did.
So now we got to deal with that or figure things like that out. We got to fix some pavilions. Those are things we need to work on, you know. So we're going to be preemptive. We're going to go through the parks. We're going to see what needs to be done. We're going to come back every month and say, hey, here's what needs to happen. And some of those might be capital improvement, but some of those might be like, this is falling down and needs to be fixed now. So, questions, any thoughts, comments, anything I can?
I got two. Mm-hmm. So wait, when you say hire, is this maintenance?
No.
Or is this for like your job?
Yeah, for a deputy.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Your mic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
So you're like who you'll hire when the deputy that you hire will interface with the park board significantly.
Exactly.
And then the threshold, like the 1,500 threshold, all that all still has to go through the full.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring to the board what other townships, cities, and villages are doing, and saying, okay, like when I called Mike Grodai right here, he's their township supervisor. He was like, "You got to be kidding."
Yeah.
At $1,500, I was like,
We did that on our own side of it and found out numbers from multiple municipalities around. And that's where, when we had no feedback from the township board or anything, we created our own thresholds for this is what we're doing and we'll present to them. And then it got kicked back and
I thought it
pretty much
got
lost
shot down.
Yeah, it got shot down,
Yeah,
but
get shut
That's
down.
what I thought. I mean,
had this election and the next month is a new board.
1,500 isn't zero.
Yeah.
So obviously
It's
the
not zero.
trustees and others thought that was an appropriate number, and I mean, like, whatever. It's beyond your ability to just say so.
It's beyond
right?
workable.
It's gonna have to be a whole thing to get the threshold changed.
yeah, I've got to do a whole program to say, here's what we need. Here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same. It's the same way when we have like, because we pay for the sheriff's cars. Mm-hmm. It breaks down. I don't go shop around. I don't have time to tow it to 3 different places.
Right.
I have to. It's like, okay, I have a couple agreements. Like we tagged on to the Monroe County Sheriff's agreement, like with Bell Tire. So we have them, and then we have a couple others. But I don't have time. That car's got to get back on the road.
I let it sit for a month.
So I mean, but those are, you know, because we have some of the same frustrations. I mean, you know, I can go over 1,500. Like we had 7 gas leaks here. Well, it's not something I'm going to shop around. You know, there's a couple of plumbers we deal with. It's like we need it fixed now. You know, I'm surprised. Somebody, if they were standing in the wrong place, lighting a match or a cigarette or something, God knows what could happen. So, any other thoughts or anything that we can do for you? That
Sounds good.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Let the month go by, and there's not
Right.
a lot this meeting or next that's
Right. So we're gearing up. So when everybody takes office, that we can be off and running. The other thing too, and I'd recommend to the both of you as too, is through the Michigan Township Association, is to take the newly elected officials class. It's pretty informative, pretty good. If you don't know, Matt used to be on the planning commission, so he does, he's got the flow of the meeting already. So, and he can take heat too because he's on the planning commission. Not everybody's friendly when they come there.
There you go.
So, any other?
Thank you, Al.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it, Al.
You guys all clear on the bids and getting things approved now, who to call and everything else, or?
Yeah, but I'm, like I said, for Chaz
gonna do
and
much.
Chris and it's not going to do a whole lot for this last
Okay.
one.
No.
We'll get it taught and reiterated as the new elected board, and we'll get it organized for the start of a new board.
Yeah.
The key pipeline there is get it to me, right? You said get
Yep.
it to me and I'll get it done. So
Yep.
the method in which it's gotten to you is the real question we'll have to iron out. Is it through email, through bringing it to your office, through one identified liaison on the board,
Right.
or through the township trustees liaison?
And that's
Like,
something the new board can
yeah,
decide upon. and
we'll have to
discuss.
determine how to get it to the supervisor's office, or maybe just a hodgepodge of all those things. But that became a problem in the past, right?
Good.
Just
Yes.
that there was not a connect.
Yep.
But it should be easy enough. So yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out.
All right. Thanks, Al.
All right.
Thank you, Al.
Park partner reports here. There is someone here from disc golf.
Mitch is here,
Come on.
which this kind of ties into 10.
Yes.
10C. We'll just bring it up
Bring it
now.
up now.
We're still on board for Friday. Is it Friday?
Yeah, we're all set. All the insurance stuff fell into place, so I think I sent you guys I sent you and Chris.
Chris, yeah, and Chris said he got it over to.
Just to look over it. I mean, hopefully we don't have to use any of that, but
Right. Nope, it should be in place. I kind of was running my head through things the past couple of days, knowing it's coming up and everything. Unless there's something on your end that you need from us or setting, or
I think I'm good. The only thing is, I know Chris was telling me at one point he wanted the police and fire departments just to know that it exists. So I don't know if you guys ended up. I put that in my email, like, hey, forward this if you need to.
I'll note it to get in touch with Chris and if he's talked with anybody of that. But it's something where we can at least know that, hey, this is a park event going on. So if the cops
Yep.
get calls or something random, or they understand it's actually a legit event.
As of right now, we got 16 people signed up. So
Okay.
with how these fill up, I'd be surprised if it's under 40. I'm sure it will be at least 40 people.
And you're
there.
pretty much thinking like dusk, like
Yeah,
7:30
starting right at
time.
7.
10.
Should be done within 2 hours of that, but we'll see exactly how that plays out. Yeah, so
That's-
if there's anything else you guys need to
So yeah, I basically just made sure to get on the agenda for if there was anything else you guys thought of.
How do people sign up? The PDGA website?
it's a website called discgolfscene.com, and yeah, you can filter
Can't
local
call
events.
you directly or anything, I guess.
They can. I mean, they can get in touch with me, blackswampdiscs.com, and email me, text me, whatever, and I'll
Or
shoot.
discgolfscene.com,
discgolfscene.com. Yep.
and they'll find it.
or contact Black Swamp Discs
Yep. Play some glow disc golf.
this Friday, 18th,
Yep.
dusk at Parmalee.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you guys.
Mitch.
You can let him know that his invoice is going to get approved. That's the one that you guys
Oh, yeah.
have to let
Yes.
Al know.
Did you get it? Yep, for the main course sign.
Yeah. So
It's greenlit.
okay.
Basically, I would say the next step from here is if you have it to us for this board in 2 weeks, basically we're just looking at like a final layout, and that's where we had kind of discussed and said, like the rules and all that. We already have a park sign at Parmalee for like our specific township rules and park things. We pretty much kind of decide like leave it to you to, hey, whatever fits for like a beginner's course, basics of disc golf rules, how to approach, like whatever you think is going to fit in there, look good.
If I'm able to bring that design in 2 weeks, am I able to get, paid? Yeah, sorry. Am I able to get the invoice paid so I can buy
Yeah,
materials?
if you've got that final design and an invoice for it, and we say, yep, green light, we'll get it turned right in to get a check cut for it at that point.
It's got to
So
be
you can
on
get
the
it
treasurer's
ordered.
report. You got to get it to Chris to be on the treasurer's report.
I needed to get it.
And when we
that Monday.
approve the treasurer's report and I write the treasurer's report into the notes and submit the notes, that is when.
You guys just have to get it to Al.
We just got to get it to Al.
To me, I get it into Bob. See, Bob cuts those checks, and then as soon as you guys.
It does not have to come to the board.
We're doing it.
Yep.
That's
So
it's
bring us a final invoice and the design
Okay.
in 2 weeks.
Okay.
If green light approved, we'll get it over so Bob can cut a check. Then you can order it, get it on place. We know, like you said, other than like a materials final receipt for whatever you might need for installing, they're doing the labor, they're installing. I would love to have it in before the ground freezes and we can get post holes dug and, of course, map up with each of the T signs that have already been done. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're good to go. Let's get moving on that.
Cool.
All right, thanks,
Thanks,
Mitch.
guys.
Thanks, Mitch.
All right, that brings us to number 9, comments from the public. Did you want to get up and introduce yourself to the?
Feel free.
Yes.
Campaign.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matt Anger. I'm running for Park Commission. I think I am already pretty much in. And
How do you spell A-N-G?
ER.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to making our parks better for our township, and I've been doing lots of research, so hopefully we can get it going.
All right,
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
thanks. Okay, unfinished business. Schedule the winter portage on and dumpsters. I don't.
I
know
put
if
that on there
that's
because
done.
Chris does it each year, and so I mean, along with contacting him about.
We can kick that over to.
Usually it's beginning of November, but that's why with the whole new election, the new board, then I didn't want it to fall and get lost. And
Right.
like if Chris can get it scheduled or just discuss it with
We'll put it on the
Stevens,
next
whoever, to
agenda.
make sure,
See if he.
hey, we've got it scheduled to fall ball through 3B ends middle of this month to end of it. So usually beginning of November is when we can usually cut pickups in half. Cut the portos to like one regular, one handicap. Like we kind of downsize everything because we get into winter season.
Yep. All right. B, the report from Alan Pat. We already
That's with
heard.
Stevens, right?
Correct.
So you're going to ask Chris to do it, I guess?
Just have it
I'm gonna
scheduled
see
and
if-
ready so when a new board comes in after
Yeah.
election.
You're going to call Chris?
Yep.
Then if Chris can't?
Yep. I'll
I know
I'll
he's-
get in because I got to get in touch with Chris on if he talked to the fire or sheriff's office about the glow event Friday at Parmalee. So.
Chris can't do it, I guess you got it. Call him.
Yep.
Somebody's got to call Stevens, though. They do both.
And we don't usually schedule it to November. Like I said, I just put it on this agenda so we
think it's
talk
a
about
guy
it and it
named
doesn't get
over there
lost
who-
in the mix of, hey, this is our last meeting, then half of us are gone and
Right.
hey,
Forget
did this
about
get
it.
handled or I didn't want it lost.
Sure. All right. Now we'll move on to C, Parmalee Glow Golf Report. We already have that pretty much. So we'll go on to D. Andrew would like to compile all the contact information for 3B, anything else you had.
Anybody you had,
Anybody
I know
you-
you probably, it was more for Chris and Chaz and
Yeah, I think
a
so.
lot for you of who you contacting regarding
Did
to
you
the
get my
burns
email?
or, yep.
Okay, good.
I
Yeah.
just sent it out to
You're saying the ones who
any
won't be on the park
contacts,
board in
yep.
the future.
Any
whoever the guy
contacts you
is.
have or who you've just like, I know Chaz and his contacts with 3B, Chris, who he deals with in terms of Stevens and in terms of, who was it at Samaria, the baseball select, and
yeah.
just any kind of odds and ends information before you leave the board and are gone,
Right.
that we don't leave this new board in a pile of dust and lost in the sauce, kind of like we were left. So let's make it a little smoother transition was the whole point of that.
Well, like I said, I like doing it month by month, so
Yep.
you know what's coming up. You know, he said,
Yep.
okay, this we should do this month, so I kind of broke it down that way. You can add to it however you want.
Yep, nope, that it was, I got it.
Okay,
That's
good.
perfect.
All right.
They all emailed those back to you. And you're going to,
You haven't heard from,
the other two
I'll
might.
Get in touch
You're
with
going to
the other
create a
two.
list of.
Yep, I'm just going to
ongoing
put a
contacts forever.
spreadsheet or here's contacts for this. Contacts, it's like I have the contacts for Ace Pyro and
right.
dealing with the fireworks, but I know you always handled, or who do you, is it Al you get in touch with, or who do you get in touch with here about setting up the insurance for fireworks? And that, like, I didn't handle that aspect of it.
Right.
Like, just put all of our heads together of all these things that get accomplished that not all of us have our hands in.
So really, you're establishing a parks master contact.
And here's a master item annual thing, like porta-john and dumpsters for your seasonal stuff, and then the new board can look at it, and if they want to go off this or develop a new list or assign roles.
So you want to give it to me as the secretary, you can, but I guess just compiling it is already just it.
That's what I was going to do, and then just I can give it to you to put on the minutes so it's on record or whatever.
Send it, yeah.
But I'm just trying to make it a little more organized.
All right, let's move on to the parks update. Anstead Preserve, they did burn last time, and then in this past 2 weeks, I think it was, they used that forestry mower that you guys had hired, and they finished doing the front part of Anstead, which we can't ever burn because it's too close to the buildings, the people next door residential property. So that was done, which is good. If they could do that again, maybe every
once a
2-3 years,
season or two
something like that, you know, if they could get it done, just to keep it down, so you don't get the invasives in there growing, and yeah, that'd be great. All right, Cars Grove.
The last I had spoke with Chris, the bidding open point ended for the pickleball courts at Carr. No bids were received.
Again? After they changed the date?
So they were changed. So basically, I don't know where it stands at this point, but again, with us as a board, and now we're into the fall season where you're not going to be putting in coating surfaces and courts. It's going to be more of a spring item.
Let's hear from Al. Yes.
Shoot. Yeah, you probably know more on it than Chris relaying info to me.
Yeah, Chris and I, we spoke last week, and we also spoke with the engineer and kind of where we're at. Yeah, we didn't get any bids. So what we did, the engineer has got the locations where we're supposed to have them, okay? Then we are going to meet with our plumbing inspector because these things haven't been changed and some things have popped up. Okay, so we're going to the plumbing inspector and saying, okay, you tell us what you want and how these things are to be hooked up, because you're the inspector.
Oh, are you talking about the water fountains?
For the water fountains, right. Oh, yeah, that's for the water fountains. For the pickleball courts, in terms of that, the same thing. We've talked to the engineer. We're going to put this out. I got to talk to Trudy because I know she's busy, but we're going to put it on BidNet, and we're going to go out and contact some contractors too and say, hey, we've got this project coming. I don't understand why we didn't get any bids, especially when somebody just built one down in Bedford. I mean, it's like, so those two things, the fountains and the pickleball courts, I've been working with Chris, so he keeps me filled into what's going on. So.
Okay, thank you.
Did we change the date to the spring and it got reposted, or that didn't?
I don't know if that occurred yet.
So we knew it was already.
Okay, so it was.
We got the information last meeting that no bids were received, and then they were going to put it back out
again.
I don't think it's gone back out officially, but that's where posting it on BidNet and.
Rebid it.
I think both at this point, especially fountains, are going to be spring with the kickoffs to get everything set and in place and ready to go for spring. Because at this point, we'd be winterizing the fountains and close them off. So there's no rush on it. And same thing with pickleball. You're not going to lay that coating surface and all that down in the cold and let it screw up over the winter.
Nope.
I have something for Cars Grove. I had a resident stop in my shop, and he said the handicap signs on the north side parking lot, so that would be by the, he said they're pretty faded, and he would like to get those replaced if you guys can.
We need a lot of signs. I didn't think that was something we wanted to do. We probably want to leave that for the next board, but you know, there's signs at Wheeler about no dogs in the park. Those are damaged and destroyed. Signs at Anstead are missing, so you'll need to place an order for new signs for various things in the park at some point.
Okay, he said the two on the north side, so that would be by the hall.
By the hall, yeah. Okay.
So make a note for parks overall to put in minutes that we should look at compiling, going a walkthrough of each park and compiling a list of signs to get on order.
And then that will bring
Something
us,
we'd give to maintenance, I guess. Make a list and then give it to maintenance.
These are what need replaced.
Yeah.
And then Parmalee?
So that stone has been there for weeks, but it has not been spread. but I'm sure it'll happen soon. I don't know anybody.
White too.
Yeah.
They've been doing white. They're done with white.
Yeah, I guess white just got priority above
With the
fireworks.
glow event Friday night, if there's any shot of getting Pat out there before Friday evening.
Yeah,
It's
this
Friday.
coming Friday.
Okay. Because I've also had them working on the back of the
Right.
I'll talk to them tomorrow.
Yeah, if they get that.
I was going to ask you with that event, is the stone still there?
It's still there. I mean, I don't know that event is that much of a priority, other than it's dark and
They've
the
already got
parking lot's
16
bad.
registered.
People. Yeah. I
And
mean,
the way it fills up, they could have 30 over.
Al, please go to the podium.
You're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Samaria. Since Chris isn't here, I haven't heard anything.
I've got no
No
update.
complaints, no updates. All right.
I don't know about bookings. I don't. Yeah.
No, I don't either. I don't know. White Park? That's another one.
That fence was
Only thing
fixed. I went past it today. I mean, it's from what I saw, everything's in good shape.
Okay.
I haven't heard any complaints, or I know 3B is wrapping up kind of the fall ball leagues and all that. That's still going, so they've got people out there. The fields have people on them. If there was something major, I'm sure we would have heard about it.
Okay.
does the booking system allow multiple bookings of the pavilions? It probably does, right?
Each, like you're talking like White Park that has
Yeah.
two, each one has its own page
Yeah.
that you can book on.
And once
For
booked,
for
then it
instance,
would
Carr,
go.
who only has a single pavilion, once the day's booked, it's locked. It's
Not the shelter, the pavilion.
correct.
Because someone
pavilions
called
are
and
one
said that they
day
had booked the
booked.
thing. There was a thing, a complaint, a lady who said she booked the thing, and then someone else was there, and she got charged twice, but then someone else was there anyway, and she was demanding a refund.
It's open to the
This was
public,
like a
so
week or
others
two
may
ago,
be
so-
there. The point of the booking is for them to have that
She said the
email
other person
confirmation
there
that
had
this
the
is,
receipt, and it
and
was
she
like,
booked the wrong day, or
right, I mean, and I'm not, I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough.
it's all online now. Like
be,
it's you pick the date, and that's the only thing it does. You have to confirm a date, and then once
it'll
you pay,
capture it.
it locks that day. Like nobody else
Nobody
can
else
book
can
that
use it.
day.
That's what I thought, so, okay, good.
Unless it's for, like I said, White has two
Right.
pavilions, so
But
there's
then
two different.
if there was two
bookings.
bookings, then it would be off, right? Then once the two
You're
bookings
right,
are made,
right.
Right.
so
Nobody
then
else.
something must have, that's fine, okay.
I mean, that system
There was a
pretty
complaint about
straightforward.
about people at she was trying to have an event and there was people there and whatever. It's like 2 weeks ago, so.
Okay. Well, if she shows the receipt, that should,
Yeah, and she's like, the other people had the receipt, but then there's two areas, so I don't know. It's okay. I think it's
All right.
okay.
that brings us down to Wheeler Preserved. Al, do you know if those trees, those big tree of heaven, we had to, maintenance said they couldn't do it. They didn't have the equipment, so we're going to have to bid those trees out. I think there's 5 of them over there at Wheeler that have to be dropped. So, again, it'll be an estimate because I'm sure it'll be over $1,500 to drop those.
Oh, 5 trees, yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. Get on that. The sooner the better on that. And that brings us down to pocket parks. I know nothing. No complaints.
I'm sure getting into fall here with a few of them, it's going to be just getting maintenance out there to double check and leaf cleanup and
Right.
sticks and brand. We're getting into that season. So,
Yeah, there'll be that every time a wind comes by.
yep,
down.
we'll look for calls,
Yep.
stuff down. So,
All right, that brings us to comments from the public. Anybody else want to get up and say anything into the mic? No? All right, then we'll move on. Commissioners' comments. Anything from,
Do you guys need anything from me? Anything I need to relay to the Trudy?
nope. No, I think we're good for now.
Okay. Yeah, thanks again for coming in, Al. Clear
Yeah.
things up.
Yep. Aaron?
Just a reminder, anybody booking or really doing anything, I guess, that would require a callback, there is no callback. The Parks Commission does not have a callback service. Really, the only people who ever want to be called back have issues with their bookings, but I'm not calling back, and Carol used to, and Carol's not going to be on the board anymore, and she handed the phone number
Sorry.
thing off to me, which I think is good because it would be like a part-time job for one person to be fielding all these calls and answering all the inquiries and things about the reservations and all that. So if the Samaria and car park or other facilities are something you want to book, just recognize, please, that there is not a customer service department to service you, and the township may or may not in the future create that position. Who knows? But right now it doesn't exist. And beware when you make your bookings that you got to use the online service exclusively. So that's the deal. A lot of people use the online service and then they freak out because they want a cancellation or something's wrong, and then they want to call the number and have us fix it. But I do not have any interface or knowledge of the online system, and I'm not going to learn it right now. So I know that's the deal with that. But summer's over anyway, probably fewer bookings, but definitely that's the thing with the phone line is, it ends up being that a lot.
Okay, Andrew?
Disc golf glow event at Parmalee Park this Friday, the 18th. It's at dusk. Contact discgolfscene.com or Black Swamp Golf, Disc Golf? Yeah, Black Swamp Disc Golf. Mitch, they can get you registered if you're interested in participating. Al, thank you for coming and just starting communication now with us so we know how to turn it over and look forward to moving forward. That's all I got.
Sounds good. All right, thanks again, Al. And our next park board meeting will be Monday, October 28th at Car Park Hall at 7 because the township will be having early voting here, so we're not going to be here.
Going back
we'll
to
be at Car Park.
Where it all started.
Yes, where it all started. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is over.
Thank you.